13 minutes past 9 this morning. Ronan O'Gara, good morning to you.
Hiya, Jar. How's it going?
Very well, very well. What part of the world are you in at the moment?
I'm at home. Yeah. So I was thinking alright about what you'd be saying to me at the start, and it's mornings like that I have to remind myself I have a job, and if I flick the camera a little bit, it would be easy to. Sometimes I forget I'm coaching La Rochelle, so this is most definitely a morning of it. We play Sunday, so Thursday morning is kind of the morning you can breathe for a little bit before the CEO or president or whoever gets their hands on you for urgent issues or non-urgent issues. But I was laughing to myself going, this is why I'm here, 25 degrees, beautiful weather, playing a semi-final of European Cup. Exciting times.
Do you have to consider what the lifestyle is going to be like when you're signing players? I know for teams who are in Vegas, for example, they need to do a lot of due diligence on the players to see if they're a bit too into nightlife. If somebody's
you're jumping a little bit there now, Joe.
If somebody's a bit too into surfing or lying on the beach, are you like,
either way to Vegas is poles apart, most definitely. But one of the interesting, I suppose, constraints, opportunities, reasons to think deeply on contract renewal is obviously where the players live, lifestyle, opportunity, but also not getting into that comfort zone. So I suppose a good example of that would be, Tuira Carvalho, Victor Vito, guys from All Black winning World Cup teams that have come, but have left, I suppose, as they say in France, left their trace, they've left their print on the club and continue to do so because I suppose their habits are really good and they're really good professionals, and they're an example to the the academy players of La Rochelle, which is essentially, we need them performing on the pitch for the professional team, the first team, but also you have to kind of, I suppose, educate the younger players that this is what professional looks like. This is what, shall we say, in our early days at Munster, day off was kind of the Wednesday, so we literally took it as a day off. So popcorn, cinema, feed up, but now day off for the modern player is very, very different in terms of it probably starts with potentially yoga to massage to stretching to maybe a little bit of mindfulness or relaxation. I suppose, as you know, the data is getting better all the time, but so is also probably the openness of players' minds.
That's kind of the key thing that's changed in the 2 decades is that there was an old school amateur mentality, and now people are actually legitimately seeing this as every extra season is another season spent playing, earning money, learning, furthering your career. And the kids, if they're coming in with that right attitude, they can have 20-year careers as professional rugby players now.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and that's something I think that's probably, I can see that difference between even in the generation gap between Donica Ryan and myself, even because he informs me about that's exactly how a forward's mentality would be. I can, potentially squeeze another 12, 24 months out of my body to be able to do this because, as you said, their job description for a forward is very, very different to, we'll say, a number 10. So if he gets good, and I remember the words of Donegal O'Callaghan, like his body is his business, and Jamie Heaslip, they invested in it and they put in, I suppose, tools to enhance their body to be at the best it could be, while I suppose someone like myself or a back, we would be more enthralled by the skill, talent aspect of it, while for other people it's no, actually, I need to get 6,000 metres in this game. If I can continue to do that for as many years as I can, I have, as you say, the capacity to earn good money.
And just speaking about the players there, obviously I think we're a lot more educated around those sort of areas now of knowing to get the stretching in, to do the yoga on the days off. But as a head coach, Ronan, does your mind ever get a rest?
No. I'd like to say it. It does, but I don't look upon that as a punishment. I look upon that as a pleasure or a privilege. I love what I do. So I think when you love what you do, you don't look upon it as a job. There are times, like everyone, you get absolutely frustrated, dejected, and at the stage of the season, the further you go, the more disappointed you get. So we're entering that territory now. So we've no guarantee of proceeding this weekend, but the goal is to go another stage, and then after that you want to try and win a final. But it's getting down to the juicy moments of the season, and this is what we live for, and this is what we do all our season for. But one of my big points to the players is that you got to enjoy the journey. So there's no point just, okay, it's phase finale now or European Cup semi-final. We don't change. We repeat what we've done, but we got to do it more accurately and with a little bit more tempo and a little bit better.
We had Tomas O'Shea on a little bit earlier on, and he was talking about he woke up one morning after the Kerry under-20s had been beaten, and he texted the county board chairman essentially saying, I want to get involved here, I'm fed up with this team being beaten. And he now looks back on that and thinks, I just didn't have the experience. The county board chairman must have gone, who's this fella? So now he's gone off and he's working with Offaly, and he's kind of going through that bit where he's interested in the coaching, very interested in the coaching, and soaking it up like a sponge. But actually it sounded like he's decided that he actually wants to be a manager, because you've got the ultimate say. I know from listening to Stuart Lancaster, when he was the England coach, he didn't have enough of the actual coaching part of the job, because all of the rest of the stuff that goes with being the team manager or the team principal took him away from the coaching aspect on the field. On weeks like this, do you do more coaching than managing than you would in other weeks, or do you say things don't change, but do you change a little bit?
No, I think you're just conscious of not having them on the pitches as you would in other weeks. You're not going to get fitter or better at this stage of the season. Where you need to get better at this stage of the season is mentally. So there's a big focus on that. And your question is very interesting in the fact too. I think a lot of people, our average sports fans, I think underestimate the impact, the hurt, the level of profound dismay when it was Stuart Lancaster. He's coaching England in the home World Cup. I think there are very few occasions in world sport when we have seen that example of managers in that situation. I think, we've seen it with the English football team, but we saw it with the English rugby team. You look at the squeeze that came on New Zealand in the Rugby World Cup. You'd know that date, sure. When they scraped home against France, was it in
2011?
Yes, yeah. And you look there at what I suppose the pressure that was on that management team when there was a nation essentially, holding its breath in terms of that outcome. So that's, I suppose, for anyone else bar the person, you're able to move on. But when it's Stuart Lancaster, when it's me after losing the final, it hurts. It really, really does get to you, and it eats at you, and you need a few days to even kind of resurface and have a plan to come back. But then, I suppose, to tie in what Tomas is talking about too, there's something fascinating about the emotions of sport and the emotions of people, and trying to unite a group of 40 odd players, of which 12 of them really don't like you because you're not picking them. And then you've got a lot of guys who really like you and really believe in what you're doing. And then you're going into a dressing room after a game and you're high-fiving the guys who are playing. And then the kind of guys that aren't involved that weekend are like, get away from me.
That's the hard side of it all. Is it even tougher as a manager to have...
way tougher, because there's kind of one boss, so they know you make the call, you pick the team, and you want that. But I think you try to tell them, that I don't really want you to like me, but I just want you to respect me, and then let's get over what we both want, and then hopefully there's a happy ending for both parties.
At the start of this conversation, you talked about the administrative side of this, like the CEO and the president. How much of your job is coaching?
So much of it is. I really, really am into coaching. I will not be distracted by the other elements. Is that a weakness of mine? Probably is. in terms of you know what I mean, getting other stuff organised. My memory and my capacity to see beyond the medium term is very, very poor. And that's an area that I need help with, but I have good people around me to do that. But in terms of my focus, George, it's very, very short term. Yes, the recruitment is hugely important, but there's a team in place for that. But I think what I appreciate as I get a little bit older, more experienced, is that there can't be 10 important things. You know what I mean? There just isn't 10 important things, otherwise it becomes average. So you can put a big focus on being really good at 2 or 3 things and trying to excel in that, and then make improvements in the other areas.
I had to look up. I think you're playing the game in Lons this weekend. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. There's huge disappointment, frustration, I think, in the fact that there's a concert booked for the U Arena. So obviously that's a big business. So there was no guarantee Racing would have a home, I suppose, semi-final. It seems to be the year of concerts, disturbing rugby games. So yeah, we're going to Lens, which is 7 hours by road from La Rochelle. No flights really, so a lot of frustration among supporters here, most definitely, because it's hard to get to. It's a Sunday at 4 o'clock. There's school the next day, work the next day, but it's still a European Cup semi-final, you know. But if it was a Bouclier semi-final, I think the place would be full. We probably won't have many fans there this week, however.
6 hours, 56 minutes. I'm just looking at is the map. So, like, are you involved in all of that crap where it's like, okay, we need to talk about how the team is going to get there, or do you just go get us there the fastest way possible? Tell us where we all need to be.
No, you are involved there because it's semi-final and it's a big game, and you're looking at putting on other flights. And what was, I suppose, you know, it's a European Cup semi-final, but some people don't get that. And I suppose for a lot of, I suppose, the foreigners, you want your families there, and with that, it's you need to organise flights. Is it a realistic option of getting them there? So there was a lot of that, and you've kind of, you know, you want the players not in the I suppose the togging out group at the game as well, because they have given as much as the 28 people who will tog off. So there are little tricky bits like that, Jar, that are. You mean that's the frustrating side of the job, most definitely.
Presumably, the best part is trying to work out how to stop this Racing team and Mike Prendergast.
No, I wouldn't even use that language. It was more. No, I would flip it on its head and go, how we are going to rip them apart. That's my plan. So, you know.
Sure,
how are you going to do that?
He's definitely not listening. Tell us how you're going to do it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so, but that's it. You know, I think the fascinating part of it is that it's, they've seen all our games, we've seen their game, but we have a plan to stop them, they have a plan to stop us. So, like, there's a capacity for maybe 1 or 2. Joe Schmidt plays incredible analysis to come out on either team, but other than that, you know, it'll take a life of its own from a decision, potentially a poor decision from one player on either team, and then the energy of the game will flow in a different way, and it's up to the players, the leaders on your team to kind of reconstruct your performance from that point, if you understand. You know what I mean? We've got to basically get back on task and stay in the moment, and then refocus and continue to, I suppose, implement what we want to do on Sunday.
There's a view that Manchester City have not produced leaders on the field when things are going against them, that Guardiola's style is to impose his style and his thinking and get everybody to play in a way that has been unbelievably successful. It has hoovered up domestic titles everywhere he's gone. Do you want your players to play in a specific style, or do you need them to actually be able to respond when somebody makes a bad decision on their team, that instead of going, all right, well, that's it, game's over now, somebody's screwed up, that they're able to think their way out of it? And if that's the case, how do you actually coach that?
Yeah, well, exactly, and it's something that I have put a lot of thought into. I think what you're trying to do, Jared, is give them a framework with 3 or 4 options within the one module. So if this picture is presented to you, you can pick this option, but that's off kind of medium speed ball. I think, as you know, we've had good people on this show in the past talking about this ruck speed. Once your ruck is fast, there shouldn't really be a plan. Go play, flow. You know what I mean? Play on instinct. Play at speed. If speed kills, it's the one thing that kills in the game is speed, and that's the one thing you're trying to install in your players, the guys who have, and it's forwards as well, who have capacity to shift at high speed. Once the ball is quick, there shouldn't really be a game plan.
And just speaking about Munster and Toulouse, the shootout, what did you think of that, Ronan? Was it fair?
Of course it was fair. I think the rules are there and we understand how it's going to finish. So for me, I find it absolutely fascinating, these people who speak about the penalties being a lottery. It's such a great mental test under fatigue. I will debate this and contest it all day long, and the fact that it will be it rugby or soccer. It's harder in soccer because you actually have a goalkeeper. In rugby, it's a fixed skill. So you trust your process. It either stands up under pressure or it doesn't. And if you're a killer, which I wasn't in Northampton, you're able to produce. But what an opportunity for place kickers to show their skills, you know. You look at someone who wasn't spoken about, I'd say, much in the Irish media is the difference between the team, which is Ramos.
It can be an opportunity in a way, you know, to just perfect that skill, but also to see what you're like under pressure. For you, did you enjoy that part when it got, I suppose, to later in your career? Did you look forward to those moments?
I absolutely loved it. But I think that's, there's so many elements in 100 minutes that it's a freakish kind of set of circumstances that after 100 minutes, it's still nothing separates the team. So, okay, we'll go to penalty kicks, but then all of a sudden you start completely from zero and you're into kind of a new exam, and you just got to completely refocus, resettle. And, I think Toulouse were extraordinarily better than Munster in the situation. Munster missed 3 kicks, Toulouse didn't miss.
And outside of the middle then, what would you have preferred, a right or a left kick?
I don't get that either. Every kick is the same, from the touchline, from in front of the post, whatever. The only thing that changes, the game's going on in your head. So every strike is the same. So, once you understand the angle and you concentrate on strike, every kick, so kick from the touchline, a kick from the middle of the post, it's exactly the same. The only thing that changes is your angle. So have you got, I suppose, complete trust in your process and your angle and your setup and your routine? Can it work under pressure? Where you are, pull the trigger, enjoy.
Yeah, so your setup will always stay the same. It's only probably the angle of your body that you shift, but you'll always do the exact same thing for each kick.
100%. In a nutshell, that's exactly it. The only thing that changes is your angle, but this is what your 200 kicks in the week as a young player, or your 50 to 60 as an old man, when you're down to the latter stages of your career, that's the only thing that changed. And when you know it works and you have that credit in the bank, you're just trusting your timing. Imagine the adrenaline too at that stage, no matter how tired you are. No one missed because of a short kick. People mixed because their technique buckled.
And why was there such a difference between Toulouse and Munster then?
Because Toulouse are animals for the big time. They are, which I don't know how much you talk about, but to win the top 14 in the European Cup in the same season is big, Ger. It's very big. It's a big achievement. And they've beaten Ulster away. They've beaten Munster away. Yeah, they've the ultimate test this weekend, but irrespective of what happens this weekend, they're a team you begrudgingly have to admire.
Do you make them slight favourites then against Leinster?
No, you don't. No. Stop. Home advantage for Leinster in the Aviva, fresh. A team that's travelling, that's playing 2 competitions. A team that's rested. It's not. I don't think you're looking at a similar set of circumstances between the teams.
But it's a closer game maybe than people are thinking, because the bookies have it like a 7, 8, 9 point spread. But if they're animals for the big time, it doesn't get much bigger than this, and they've got the smell of this tournament in their nostrils, and they're squeaking in ahead of you guys in the top 14. So
I think they're good. I think they are very good. Yeah, I think they are. I genuinely do. But also the biggest compliment you can give Leinster, Jars, they smashed Leicester. It was 20-0, game over. So it's hard to judge from that game because they were never in any danger.
Before we go, give us a gander at the beach there outside the window, will you? Turn the camera around for us. Sicken the holes of all of us.
No. That's what experience is, making right decisions under pressure. Have a good day.
Enjoy the 7-hour bus journey. Good luck.
Good luck. Bye-bye.
Ronan O'Gara refusing to show us his view there.
He just didn't want to make us jealous.
OTB AM is brought to you live each morning by Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day.